What do a water bottle, a cradle, and a printer have in common? They figured out how to charge you monthly for all of them. They are doing great, by the way. Everything comes with a subscription now, and people hate it. Last year, on average, a household cut their subscriptions by 32%. But you probably still have 10 active subscriptions, a few on hold, and 5 you forgot exist. Those 5 are costing you 2 weeks of groceries every month without you knowing. So thanks to you, some exec at a billion-dollar company can put food on their table. You are skipping lunch, and they are at a board meeting, discussing which truffle goes best with A5 Wagyu beef. Examples are endless. A printer that stops printing if you don't pay your subscription. This is a printer with ink in it, I remind you. You still have ink in the printer, but you just can't use it. Printer is like, nah, let me see the paper, or you won't see it either. The car industry is probably the worst offender here. They just can't get enough money. It's like these corporations are run by greedy little goblins. Mercedes charge $575 to let your rear wheels turn more than 4.5 degrees. The car can do 10 degrees, by the way. It was built that way. They just won't let you. I hope you weren't planning on parking your car. After people got really angry, they removed this from most of the countries. Germany still has to pay, for example. Or another car, a BMW to be specific, that you have to pay a subscription to use the heating feature of your seats. You already have paid full price for the car and bought it, together with everything else in the car, but it's locked behind a software upgrade. Now, to be fair, they removed this upgrade from the car after receiving incredible backlash. Now you just have to pay $100 for the headlights so you can see the fucking road. No, I'm kidding. Not yet. They didn't realize how greedy they were being and decided they're gonna do their best from now on to be a decent and a fair company. You wish. I wish too. We all wish. But that's not the case at all. Unfortunately, it gets worse. A lot worse. And dark. Especially General Motors. Wait, we'll get there. One other mind-boggling example is Peloton. An exercise bike that you have to pay $50 a month to use the screen that you paid and bought that comes together with the bike. If you stop paying all access membership, the screen becomes paperweight. You lose the classes, the leaderboard, and even basic stat tracking. Your $2,700 smart bike turns very dumb, very fast. And sadly, I read some people coping by saying, if 3 people use it, then it's about $16 a month for live and on-demand classes, which is cheaper than 3 separate gym memberships. If this is your idea of a gym,
get your ass back here, boy!
Yeah, this bike beats it. That's so dumb. If you are paying for this, you might have Stockholm Syndrome. Alright, all jokes aside, this is getting really out of hand. Every single day, I see a new product or a service that used to be a one-time payment start charging monthly subscriptions now. Why though? Picture this. You are the CEO of a company that makes $10 million every year and you sell a one-time payment product. And then there's this another company that makes the same amount of revenue and profit, but by selling their product with a subscription. So on paper, everything is the same number-wise. And then one day, you decide to sell your company. Coincidentally, the other company decides to sell too. You both hit up Wall Street and get a valuation. And you are in for a big surprise. Your company is worth 5 times less than the subscription model company. This is what your to-do list looks like tomorrow. First order of business, make it a subscription. Second order of business, make sure the cancel button is behind another subscription. Selling a product once is like fishing. You catch one, you eat today. Simple enough. Subscription is owning the lake and charging people to fish in it. And Wall Street, they don't invest in fishermen, they invest in lake owners. Look at this graph. Do you see how fast subscription revenues grow compared to S&P 500? The blue line is subscription companies over the last decade. The gray line is S&P 500. Companies like Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble, they own Gillette, Tide, etc. The ones that make things you actually use every day. One looks like a mountain, the other looks like a sidewalk. Subscription businesses keep about 90% of their customers year after year. So if Coca-Cola wants to double its revenue, they need to sell twice as many cans, find new people, expand their territory, new flavors, etc. But Adobe, they just need to make sure you don't cancel. And once you can't cancel, because your whole workflow is built around their software, they raise the price and you pay it. Because what are you gonna do? Learn a new software and make everything from scratch? Rebuild 10 years of work in another software? That doesn't make sense. Since they keep 90% of their customers, the value of your company goes up with every person who signs up. Compared to a company that's selling you something once, they struggle to even get 30% of you back. If you're an investor and one company is telling you, we're gonna keep almost everyone and keep adding to it, and the other company is saying, we hope they're gonna get thirsty again next year, where are you putting your money? So if you're a CEO and you don't make your product a subscription, then you are, fired. Probably not dead, but actually, I don't know. After seeing how these companies treat their customers, we are humans, by the way. But the way these companies treat us make me feel like a cow they figured out how to milk remotely. This stat says 62% of companies plan to convert a product into subscription by 2026, which is already here, so expect that number to rise to at least 80-90%. 5 to 7 times valuation. You're gonna make that into a subscription, even if you are selling coffins.
On board with our forever plan, secure your legacy monthly.
So if you bought a toaster this year that makes toast, cherish that toaster. That's a relic. That's a museum piece right there. Your grandkids will see it and say, wait, it just works? You don't need a monthly bread subscription? And you'll go, back in my day, only the government would charge you monthly for something you own, like property tax. That's my old man impression. It's bad. Now you have to pay a subscription to your own files so you can see them in color. That's a real example, by the way, the color. Pantone is the universal color standard for print design. Every logo, every product page, every brand you have ever seen is probably made by Pantone colors. In 2022, Pantone pulled their colors out of Adobe, so graphic designers who had years of client work saved up in these programs one day opened their apps and the colors were gone. Just black. Black as the souls of these corporations. Speaking of corporations with dark souls and even darker patterns, and yes, that's actually what they're called, dark patterns. It's the industry term for deliberately designing something to trick you into paying or to stop you from leaving. You know, stuff like cancel buttons that you need UV light to see. Or making you feel stupid for not taking the deal. The government has been fighting in court for the last 2 years, so you don't have to send a handwritten letter to a guy named Gary between 2 to 4 p.m. on a rainy Tuesday just to stop being charged $50 a month. You think I'm exaggerating? I'm not. I wish I was. In 2025, the FTC sued LA Fitness, and this is real. To cancel your gym membership, you had to either show up in person during limited weekly hours and hand a printed cancellation form to a specific manager called Operations Manager. Not an employee, this one specific person. Or you had to mail the same form by certified mail at your own expense. Not an email, not a phone call, certified mail. Kind you have to go to a post office for. And even when people did all that, they would frequently not process it and keep charging you. Oh, and also your cancellation letter had to arrive 30 days before, not 29. If you did everything I just told you, but your letter arrived 29 days before, you would still get charged legally. 68% of cancellations happen because the payment failed. They call this involuntary churn. Involuntary. Like it was an accident. I'm pretty sure most of the people just give a card with no money in it, so you don't have to try to find the cancel button. At least that's what I do. So the government actually wanted to do something nice for the people for once and tried to fix this. In 2024, they came up with this click to cancel rule that I just mentioned. Companies took the government to court, for the right to make it harder for you to leave. Guess what happened next? And they won, unsurprisingly.
Federal Appeals Court has rejected the FTC's click-to-cancel rule. Rule would have required companies to make canceling subscriptions online just as easy as signing up.
Apparently, FTC didn't think about the economic impacts of the rule. You know what that means? It means the rule works, just not for them. The economic impact of you being stuck and having to pay for stuff you don't use? Irrelevant. Economic impact of losing customers who want to leave? Now that's a crisis. As of right now, FTC is trying again, restarting the whole process from scratch. By the way, FTC fines these companies for hundreds of millions of dollars and even sometimes billions because they harm people, and the money goes to the government? Is that the case? Always? Let me check because, okay, found a few examples. So sometimes there are consumer refunds, but mostly, yeah, it goes to the government. That sounds wrong. Takata made defective airbags that literally exploded shrapnel into people's faces. At least 27 deaths worldwide. The fine went to US Treasury. The families of people who were killed or injured by exploding airbags didn't see that money. The FTC fined Facebook a record-breaking $5 billion for harvesting and selling their data without consent, and every single dollar went straight to the US government. And the Facebook stock price actually went up because investors expected it to be worse. Amazon made it so hard to leave Prime, they literally called the process the Iliad, named after Homer's epic poem about Trojan War that lasted 10 years. Think about that. You can check out anytime you like, but you can't never leave. Amazon had 4 pages, 6 clicks, 15 options to get out of the subscription. And some executives called their CEO Officer of Dark Arts. That's not a job title. That's a Harry Potter villain. And that actually tracks, because I've been calling these people goblins. They've been calling themselves dark wizards. I was being too nice. Other employees described it as a bit of a shady world. A bit of a shady world? Guys, it's literally called dark patterns. You are way past shady. It's as dark as your Pantone colors in your Adobe files. The FTC stepped in, made them pay $2.5 billion. This time, the government only took $1 billion of that and handed out $51 to each customer if they made a claim before a certain date and wait for a year. By the way, these sound like a lot of money, but $2 billion is equivalent to 2 days of revenue for Amazon. And like I said, Facebook's stock price actually went up after getting fined $5 billion. Basically, it's just cost of doing business. These companies make a lot of money by using dark patterns, and they just pay a cut to the government and carry on with their business. So these fines won't stop them. Nothing can stop them really. And nobody is proving that more than the car industry. I haven't even gotten to the part that actually made me angry yet. Mercedes charges $1,200 a year to unlock horsepower that's already in the engine. You paid for the car, you paid for the motor, and the motor can do it. They just said no. Tesla is moving self-driving to a subscription. The one feature that made a Tesla, and right now Tesla still makes one of the fastest accelerating cars you can buy. Keyword, right now. Because if they can charge you monthly to drive itself, they can charge you monthly to drive fast. Base acceleration, free. Good acceleration, $19 a month. The acceleration you saw in the commercial, $199. The acceleration that made you buy this car, $299. And then there's GM, General Motors. Every modern GM vehicle, Chevy, Buick, Cadillac, comes from the factory with OnStar module, a dedicated cellular antenna, and a physical SOS button near the rear view mirror. Near the rear view mirror. It's hard to say. Rear view mirror. Rear view mirror. This hardware is wired into cars' airbags and sensors. So let's say you are in a traffic accident. The car sensors detect the impact and can automatically call a dispatcher, send your GPS coordinates, and get an ambulance to you, even if you are unconscious. That's a literal lifesaver. Great feature. Or you are having a heart attack. In the middle of nowhere, you press the red SOS button and you are connected to a live human. 24/7, who sends help to your exact location. Another good feature. Very helpful. Or your car gets stolen.
Be alone with my bitch.
I'm jacking your sorry ass, punk. I'm getting in touch with my fear.
GM can remotely track it with GPS and even slow the engine down so police can catch the thief. Again, good tech. These are actually features you want to have in your car, and as an automobile company, safety always should come first. And it's the #1 priority for anyone buying a car. And they know that. That's why all of these features are behind the subscription. The emergency button, the one you would press during a heart attack or a carjacking, that's $25 a month. If you don't pay, that red button connects you to a recording that tells you to subscribe.
It's the red emergency button, and this happens.
The OnStar system is not active. To activate your service, push the blue OnStar button now or call 1-888.
It's like a Black Mirror episode. A physical button in your car, designed to save your life, and it plays you an ad. Stolen GPS tracking? The GPS hardware is in your car. GM could tell you where it is in seconds, but if you are not paying, tough luck. Now, some people will say, well, on 2025 and newer models, crash response is included for 8 years. Sure, yeah. But what happens after 8 years? The hardware is still there, the sensors still work, the car just stops caring. And if you buy the same car second-hand in 2030, the clock started ticking when the first owner bought it. You are inheriting someone else's leftover free trial.
And to my beloved grandson, age 7, I leave the remaining 4 months and 12 days of my OnStar free trial.
So it's not generosity. It's a longer leash, and they will be yanking it until you behave as they want. Remember when at the beginning of this video, we talked about 2 subscription examples car companies decided to pull back? They have actually learned from the heated seat backlash. Not that they went too far, but they picked the wrong feature. Unfortunately, it gets worse. A lot worse. And dark. People can live without warm seats, but people can't say no to the thing that might save their lives. They are now moving away from comfort subscriptions like seats and towards safety and performance subscriptions, which they believe people are more likely to pay for, which is infinitely worse. And they are trying to make these subscriptions feel mandatory for your well-being. And as a cherry on top, more like their chesticles on top of your forehead, dangling in front of your eyes, hitting you in the top of the nose. You can't just buy crash response by itself. And the cheapest plan that includes, it's called Protect, $23 to $35 a month. And it comes bundled with remote key fob access, remote start from your phone, vehicle diagnostics, dealer maintenance, location tracking, hands-free calling, and turn-by-turn navigation, where you press a button, a real human picks up and reads you the directions. It's like calling someone to Google something for you. What the fuck is that? But if that's not enough, there's OnStar One, up to $65 a month, which adds Wi-Fi, hotspot, streaming apps, and hands-free driving. $65 a month for your car that you already paid for. But sure, bundle all of that with my ambulance button and let me pay for all of that too. It's like calling 911 and being told, we'll send a unit ASAP, but first you have to subscribe to our weather channel. Think about how many features is that. Without a subscription, you basically pay $60,000 to get from A to B. In this case, the B in A to B now stands for billing. Even if the car can physically get you there, the software might decide you haven't paid enough to enjoy the ride. Everything else is DLC. Your car has DLC. Like it's a video game from EA. Honestly, they should team up. GM and EA could get along really great. Buy the base car for $60,000, unlock the steering feature for $9.99 a month. At this point, I really don't think something like this is out of the realm of possibilities. You are in your car that you paid $60,000, going 80 on a highway, and while taking a turn, suddenly the steering wheel locks itself out. What? And a pop-up appears saying,
Please update your billing information.
what the fuck? They couldn't charge your credit card for steering wheel subscription because the last of your money was charged by your toilet at home, so you can use the flush feature, and now you are dead on the side of the road. But at least your toilet subscription is all paid up and your family can flush your ashes down the toilet. So it's not all doom and gloom. And unfortunately, it's only gonna get worse. GM makes a 70% profit margin on software, on the actual car, the thing with wheels that you actually drive. 4 to 10%. Now you'd think these companies would at least be subtle about it. After all this pushback from the public, they are not. Remember that line from The Big Short?
I don't get it. Why are they confessing? They're not confessing.
They're bragging.
That's every CEO in the story. Mary Barra, the CEO of GM, our usual suspects, the company that charges you $35 a month for the ambulance button, said, GM is transforming from an automaker to a greedy parasite. That wasn't her exact choice of words, but she said, automaker to platform innovator. Platform innovator? What the fuck does that even mean? That's just buzzwords. You make cars. You're a car company. It's like a pizza delivery guy calling himself mobile food logistics specialist. She said she wants to double annual revenue by 2030 through digitally powered services and set the foundation for the next 50 years. You know what that means, right? Everything you've seen in this video so far, that's the warm-up. They want to double it. And I keep going for 50 years. My God, we're gonna die. The heated seats, the ambulance button, that's not the end game. That's the foundation. They are gonna build a skyscraper and they're gonna shove it up our ass. Jim Farley, CEO of Ford, told investors that Ford's software subscriptions will provide, and this is a real quote from an earnings call, an annuity-like revenue stream. Annuity, that's retirement language. He wants your car to fund his retirement. He also described Ford making affordable cars for everyone, and I'm quoting, a spiritual movement. But then he saw the profit margins on trucks and software, and apparently had a second spiritual movement. The spirit works in mysterious ways, mostly monthly installments. I can't empathize with these people. They can't be regular, normal functioning human beings. Even though I'm the one who can't empathize with these goblins, every passing day I suspect more and more that most of these CEOs are actual psychopaths. Speaking of psychopaths, Carlos Tavares, CEO of Stellantis, they own Jeep, Ram, Dodge, literally called himself performance psychopath. That wasn't an accusation. That was his brand. He was bragging. He called this a Darwinian period for automobile industry where only the fittest survive, and said every car should be monetizable. His words. The man who said only the fittest survive got forced out in late 2024. Stock dropped 40%, profits dropped almost 50%. The new chairman killed Tavares' cost-cutting program, which was literally named Darwin, and told employees, Darwin is dead because we intend to survive. Take that, sucker. Let's finish this section with a beautiful quote from the CEO of HP, Enrique Lores. Every time a customer buys a printer, it's an investment for us. If this customer doesn't print enough or don't use our supplies, it's a bad investment. You are the bad investment here. And their solution? Ban every ink except theirs. And the CEO said, we have seen that you can embed viruses in the cartridges. Through the cartridge, the virus can go to the printer, and then from the printer, go to the network.
911, what's the emergency, please?
Yeah, hi. I think my printer gave me an STD. I went to the doctor because I had some lumps in the back of my throat, and he said I have HPV. That's the HP virus, right?
And when asked about the future, he said, and I'm quoting, our long-term objective is to make printing a subscription. He's not hiding it. He doesn't think that you own the printer on your desk. You bought the printer, you bought the paper, and you even bought the ink. But they're like cousins at a family reunion. They are all right there, they get along great, but they're not allowed to touch each other without HP's permission. HP printers are even designed to disable the scanner and the fax machine when the ink is low, which uses zero ink. It's like your fridge refusing to open the door because you're running low on eggs. And right now, HP is being sued for all of it. The scanner lockout, the firmware updates that blocked third-party ink, and the price hikes they slapped on right after they made sure you had no alternative. Turns out, courts don't accept ink viruses as legal defense. While researching for this video, I saw a comment somewhere saying, if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. If you're gonna take anything from this video home, take this. Don't pay for shit, just steal it.